Well, good evening from Emerald Hill Skies. We're located on the outskirts of Louisville, Kentucky. My name is Doug Lucas, and happy to have you with us tonight. It's been a while. I've been on a trip and out of commission for a while, but glad to be back. Not sure about our sky tonight. As I look at our sky view, you can see that there are quite a lot of clouds swirling around, but I thought we'd go ahead and get started anyway to see if perhaps we just hit a couple of strategic holes in the sky. If we could do that, sure would love it. You might recall that we're focused on the Herschel 400 list, and we're using Stephen James O'Meara's book, the Herschel 400 Observing Guide. And what we do is we just turn to a strategic page starting August tonight, and we just start working our way through. Last time when we gathered, some of our folks said it would be nice if we had a list that would be a little more public so that we could kind of keep track of when we were going to point at certain targets. And I thought that was a very good idea. So what we're doing tonight is we're starting that idea. We're going to go to, let me just make sure our audio is on here. Yeah, looks good, and we've already got 4 folks tuned in. What we've got here is a Google sheet, and it lists all 400 of the Herschel 400 objects. And what we've done is we've made that available to you very easily by going to the Emerald Hill Skies website. So you can go to emeraldhillskies.com and just go to the resource page, and you should be able to scan down the resource page and find the notes that we're making on tonight's list. So for example, here we're going to try to go to this object first, NG6118. And hopefully as we make notes on this spreadsheet at emeraldhillskies.com/resources, it's going to be right there at the top, you'll be able to see real time how we're doing. That's our goal anyway, if we can get through this pea soup of a sky that we have. So again, you could get started by going to emeraldhillskies.com/resources in a web page that you have. Azray, good to have you here from Arizona, and Kimberly, good to have you here from Florida too. Yes, if you're online, if you wouldn't mind going ahead and checking in and tell us where you're observing from, that would be awesome. So let's get started. Again, we're looking at, let me make sure we scroll down here. Now this is the kind of the back side of the list that we have, and the first object is NGC 6118. So let's go over to our sky view and take a look. Wow, look at that sky. And I thought I would show you, we actually have an app here that we use called clearoutside.com. Clearoutside.com. And normally, when we go to that app 2 days before, if it shows that it's going to be green up here, then that's a pretty good sign that it's going to be. And here's the little square that's describing the time we are right now, see? And you can see it is very red. We don't have green again until 11 p.m. on Tuesday night. So we could try as an alternate 11 p.m. Tuesday night. Right now it looks like our sky is going to be pretty cloudy tonight, according to the latest post here. Let's go back to our sky cam and view that. Sure enough, it looks like it will be, doesn't it? Rats, so sorry. I don't know whether, why don't we try to go, let's go back to the view in the north. Let's see. There we go. Now we're slewing back toward the north. You can see the scope is turning around toward the north. And I'm going to see if there are any holes in the sky there. It's pretty much the same there. There are a couple of pockets where there's some holes, but boy, they are the exception rather than the rule. So sorry about this, gang. Let's look at our planetarium software and see if we can look up here to the north and get an idea of something that might be open. I wonder if 6995 NGC 6995, that would be the Eastern Veil Nebula. I wonder if that's going to be, oh, let's just try it. Let's slew to that. And there you see the scope changing up. ASRAE, my friend liked to call them sucker holes. By the time you get there, it clouds up. I like that, ASRAE. That might be a little bit too high for those sucker holes, as ASRAE has put it. Let's see. Boy, I think you're right. I think that is going to be a little not so favorable, huh? Let's see. Trying to find something here. How about NGC 7160? Let's try NGC 7160. That's maybe a little bit more likely for that to work out. NGC 7160. NGC 7160. Now let's go back over to our, that looks a little more promising, doesn't it? Let's go back over to our actual view through the main. Yeah, that looks very promising. So this is NGC 7160. And let's go to our sequencer and hurry up and switch that to start imaging. Let's go down here in the title. While that's, oh, you know what I forgot to do is we better do one more thing. Let's go back to next target for a second. And let's do a plate solve here. And make sure that we're synced with reality. And while that's plate solving, we'll go here and put NGC 7160 and open cluster. And that is, we were off by 1 degree, so I'm glad we do that. In CFuse. And open cluster in CFuse. Okay, so now that should be synced, and I think our scope might be settled in. So let's go to start imaging on that. Now, while it's imaging, let's go back over to our screen and just see if by chance GC 71, hey, it is on the Herschel list. I didn't even know if it was or not. We're actually going to make this our 0 item, NGC 7160. we're in luck here. And let's do a color balance. And bring our mids in and our black levels over to about right there. Put our mids about right here and set this on auto. Okay, so that's our cluster right there in the middle. As you can see, it's not incredibly rich cluster. Let me just look at some of your items here. Dennis, are you sure you're not in Colorado, Doug? Sounds like you've got clouds as well, Dennis. Sorry about that. Lisa, hello from Indiana. Glad to have you here for Indiana or Arizona. Plate solve may not work with the clouds. No, we actually could plate solve. This is a real-time view through our scope. And while that's zeroing in, let's see if we can find this 7160. So we're actually going to go back to the back of the book and look up NGC 7160 in the index. And that's going to hopefully tell us where to go, page 276. 276. 276. This actually is an object that Stephen James O'Meara has scheduled for the fall. And let me just show you real quick the way this works. See, he's got NGC 7160 right here. Look at that nice view of that cluster. And now if you go back, as I read about it, it's an open cluster in Cepheus. NGC 7160 is a bright but tiny little cluster of scattered gems, a little less than 4 degrees east of Alpha Cephei and about 204 south-southwest of Chi Cepheus. It's visible as a tiny knot of starlight in binoculars and is very distinctive in telescopes of all sizes. Okay. It says it's a sideways Y-shaped cluster. Sideways Y-shaped cluster. Okay. With 2 bright 7th magnitude members on the eastern end and a tight arc of 3 9th magnitude stars on the western end. Okay, so you can see what he's saying. Here are the 2 bright 7th magnitude members on the eastern end. Here are they. And then here is that arc that he's talking about on the western end. A dusting of dimmer suns surround these stars. And there's the dusting of dimmer suns. It's an irregular scattering of about a dozen in a 72 power scope. But you can see 60 members of 7th magnitude of fainter if you are looking in a larger scope. So that's actually pretty good for where we are tonight in the face of all these clouds. At least we were able to get one in. So let's bring our little information pane here. This is a cluster we had never before observed, and we're going to associate this with the Herschel 400. And we're in the Herschel 400 part 7. Now let's go back to where we were. And there we go. Well, it's not cooperating with the program tonight, so we're just going to pull this over here and say we observed this 60 sun cluster for the first time tonight through a hole in the clouds. Now, did you see the screen change tint there? That's because a cloud has moved in. Barely caught it before clouds moved in. So there's our little observation of NGC 7160. And then we can go back over to this chart, see, and say that tonight on 14, 2022, we observed this, and 7160 is now in the books as observed. But look at our messy sky. How about that? Whew. Boy, I'm glad we got one in. Looking down here, Azray says great. Yeah. I don't know what else we're going to be able to see tonight. You can see that is all socked in. So we're looking here toward the northeast. Let's just pick a target over here. Real quick like. And see what we can get over in that direction. See if there's any chance that we can pick up something over in the southeast. There's our sky cam view. Boy, it doesn't look promising, does it? Look at that. Look how much pea soup we've got there. Tell you what, let's go back over to our real-time view, and let's stop our live stacking and see what we've got here. Man, that one's all socked in, isn't it? Sadly. Okay, let's go toward the south. You know, some of those are breaking up a little. This is the, by the way, this is the building we're sitting in. We're observing about 200 feet away from the observatory. And this window here that you see, it's a real-time view of the window through our sky cam. That's the little office I'm sitting in right there. If you can kind of imagine that. Dane, good to have you back, brother. Yes, I'm back. What we need is a cloud filter, Azray says. Boy, that's a great idea. Let's take a look toward the south. See what we can find here. Let's try something 66, 63, and just slew up there and see what the southern sky looks like. So there we are panning over. You can see the sky cam. You can see the scope. It's doing a complete roundabout there. I think Azray is correct. We need a cloud filter. There are a few patches there you can see in the north. A few patches of dark. We'll have to be very creative to catch them, though, won't we? Now we're going to turn over toward the south and see what the south sky looks like. You know, what we can do is go ahead and end this live stream early. You know, having just bagged, as they say, one target. There's some open pockets here, huh? Where do you think those are? That's probably more toward, there's a little area of the sky there. Look how fast the clouds are moving, though. I mean, these are 3-second exposures, and it's moving fairly quickly. So as soon as we get trained on something, clouds are going to move in the way. So I tell you what, I think what we'll do is we'll back up 5 and punt. Yeah, good thing it's a fast scope, as Ray says. I think we'll back up 5 and punt. Let's go back and look at our clear outside forecast again. Tuesday's a little bit cloud risk here, but look at Wednesday. Wednesday looks very good. So let's shoot for Wednesday night, why don't we, gang? Wednesday night, and we'll start, look at how it's really It's about 10:15, isn't it? So we'll start at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time. 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday night. We'll have a good solid hour and 15 minutes before the moon rises here. Let me make sure that I'm doing this here. Center on midnight. Is that? That can't be the sun, can it? Because that's middle of the night. Seems odd, doesn't it? That must be the moon. Yeah, that's the moon. So we'll have an hour and 15 minutes before the moon rises, and it'll be at 57%. We need the James Webb because it's out there outside about is it 1 million miles away? Is that right? You're right, Dennis. Good call. All right, so we'll come back on Wednesday night at 10:15 p.m. and we'll hope to catch you there. Thanks for being here with us tonight. I'm so sorry that we got clouded in. Thanks to you all who showed up faithfully. We had about a dozen of us here. It's good to see you, Papa Tech. Good to have you back. And hope you'll all come back. Spread the word. We'll be back at 10:15 on Wednesday night. Sorry about the clouds tonight. At least we got one object in before it clouded over. We'll look forward to seeing you Wednesday night. That's all for Emerald Hill Skies tonight. We'll look forward to catching you next time. Good night from Emerald Hill Skies. See you Wednesday night. God bless. Good night.